What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Forever. An Amazon original show, Forever, starring Maya Rudolph, Fred Armisen, and Catherine Keener. A show that it's just one of those shows on Amazon. Scrolling through Amazon, looking for something to watch. Watched a few of the Portlandia episodes. Never really got into it. Kind of enjoyed it. This isn't really that, though, but very kind of a melodramatic comedy. I mean, it's a comedy in some senses, but it's like, I guess, a dark comedy, but not really dark. It's like a depressing comedy, a dramedy. Is that what you could call it? With like a twinge of like supernatural. I mean, there's an afterlife, so, you know, depending on what you believe in, supernatural would be one of those definitions. It's kind of similar. There's not a lot of shows, but there's other shows that have kind of had afterlife-y kind of things. I think Pushing Up Daisies, I've never watched it, but I heard that there's kind of some afterlife. The Good Place, Dead Like Me are kind of a couple, what ifs. The Good Place is kind of a fun what if. And this one's a what if as well. So structured kind of different. So it's basically, it takes place in the afterlife, but it takes us a while to get there. Right, the first episode, it's setting up the marriage between Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen. They live like this kind of generic husband and wife couple in Riverside, which is just a suburb outside of, in the valley outside of LA. But just suburb area, you got your cul-de-sacs and your tract homes, and nothing really happens, and it's just kind of your basic existence, and it shows, their relationship, and shows kind of every episode. So the first episode ends with Fred Armisen dying, right? But then, like, the end of every episode, there's like a punch. There's a punch that reminds you of what forever means in different ways. And this show is like, kind of like forever. When you think of forever, it kind of feels like forever. Like it feels like a long time, and the pacing's really slow, and doesn't seem like anything's going on. And this show is almost paced in a similar way, has that like kind of a similar tone of like, is this ever going to end? But in a good way. Like, it's not a bad. I enjoyed the show. I watched all 8 episodes. You have to get to, like, it's not until the 3rd episode where you're in the afterlife, but like it's the pacing of each episode kind of changing up things, and just in a really slow drip release of what's going on. So the end of the 1st episode, Fred Armisen's character Oscar dies, right? They're on vacation, they try to do something different, and he's like, I'm going to ski down this hill. Like, they're both horrible at skiing. They've never gone on vacation before. They're not the kind of people to do, explore life and enjoy it. And the one time they do, he dies. So then the 2nd episode is following her, June, Maya Rudolph's character. It follows her and kind of getting over the death of her husband, and kind of just finally getting back out there herself. And she dies. She's like trying to get a job. She, putting herself out there, and like crazy things happen. And I guess this is dark comedy. And then she dies on a plane trip to go start her new job. Right? So she wakes up and she's back with her husband, Oscar, in the same cul-de-sac that they lived when they were alive. But now it's the afterlife. And it's this weird afterlife where they're literally living in, houses that are in reality. Like, it's still the same reality. It's just like the streets closed down because of mold, So it's like these abandoned houses, but dead ghosts live in them, I guess. And they're kind of like ghosts because they can interact with humans in kind of a very ghost way, like from the movie with Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Swayze. The pottery scene, but you have to put your true energy into affecting reality. So it's kind of it's weird, and people are who they. So like, there's other people that live there that have died, but it's like there's not a whole lot of people there. So I have some questions. I have some questions with how they have this fictional reality set up. Some of the rules don't make sense to me, but it's still interesting. It's still interesting. So episode 3, they wake up and she's kind of getting introduced to what the afterlife is. And then there's a few episodes where they're kind of interacting with the other people that are in the afterlife. And then boom, episode 6 is a completely different side story. And it's more of a story about regret, about regretting the things you didn't do in life. And it follows 2 real estate agents who who work in the Riverside area selling these houses and doing these things, and they're kind of your mid-range real estate agents, and they have a connection, and it's all about them never taking the chance to actually be together. And you see that in the story. It's really good side story, really good love story, heartfelt. You get to see kind of a different situation that relates to forever, how regret can be forever. Regretting the things you don't do. Oh, my God. So it's a good show. And then in episode 7, it's back to June and Oscar's story. But this time there's this idea of getting out of Riverside. Getting out of Riverside where they are and going to Oceanside, which is actually, on the coast in L.A. But it's like Oceanside is still another suburb. It's not like you're near downtown L.A. It's an outskirt. But it's coastal instead of inland. So it's a completely different cross-section of people. So then it's the journey to Oceanside and seeing that, it's not all cracked. It's not, the grass isn't greener. The grass is always greener on the other side kind of a thing. And the season ends with, at this point, first, June goes with her new friend, Catherine Keener's character. They escape Riverside and they go to Oceanside because they think grass is greener situation. They show up, and it's rich people in a mansion that are doing kind of crazy things. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of like, instead of everybody in their own houses, everybody's at this mansion having a party and doing stupid shit. And slowly they realize that this isn't what they wanted, and Maya Rudolph wants to help Oscar. June wants to help Oscar. Oscar wants to build a boat to get out of there. They are no longer, like, there's been some friction because of, like, that's been happening over these episodes. So they're kind of separated, and because she wants to do this thing and he just wants to, and I don't know, man. I enjoy their relationship. I enjoy their sense of humor. I enjoy the show, how it relates to relationships and how it relates to forever and what that means, and kind of, in a lot of ways makes you realize that you need to be present in the moment and enjoying life more. But done in like the kind of how not to live in a way. But I really enjoy the show forever. It's on Amazon Prime. I check it out, but make sure you watch it to episode 3, which is, I know, a big ask to watch multiple episodes, but it doesn't really. It's hard to know like the pacing and the type of the show, because once they both have to be in the afterlife for you to kind of understand what's going on, and it's just, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It could be better, it could be worse, but I enjoy it. But that's it. Go watch Forever on Amazon Prime. New episodes of this show come out daily. Subscribe on IGTV and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. InspiredDisorder.com for all of my artwork and everything that I do. Go buy some paintings. At Ray Taylor for me on all social media. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!